Keneal says, this is my thing. If we don't start Trey versus Detroit or Philly, when's a good time to start him? The schedule gets tough. Weeks 3 to 9. I agree with that. It's tough. You might have to wait until week 10 at that point. I'm just saying, it's an ideal. I mean, Detroit and Phillies could be ideal because he could be inconsistent and win and build confidence.
Yeah, I actually disagree a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
I think division
Okay.
games can be tough to throw him in, but I think the way the refreshing element of bringing in the new quarterback and stuff, it might be a good reset. But I think there is a possibility that depending on the season goes, you can throw him in at any time. I mean, even the Indy game, which was supposed to be one of the toughest games on their schedule, week by week, that game is getting easier because they're having a little 2029ers in terms of injuries over there. But
This is a really good comment. Grant, you spoke so highly of Lance in camp and how much better he looked compared to Jimmy. Do you think the panic is premature? Playbook not open yet. That's a fair point. That's a really fair point. And I want to say another thing. Some of these, Lance is responsible for a lot of these drops because he doesn't make it easy on his receivers. That being said, it's 24% of his attempts right now in preseason, which is like an aberration with this from a small sample size. In camp, there were drops, but not like this. And I think what's happening is he's a little overamped in these preseason games in ways that he's not in practice. And it should kind of revert to the norm. There's still going to be drops, but not at this level. And I think when it does revert, he'll look a lot like he looked in camp. That's all I'm
so
saying.
I haven't had the benefit of seeing him in camp, so I'm just going to hypothesize. I think at whatever point he just got comfortable with what the Niners defense was doing to
Perhaps.
him, and
Yes.
that's positive because that tells you once he gets comfortable with what he and understanding what defenses are
He can beat
doing,
it.
and he learns it quickly. He starts playing really well. It just for me when I go back to the Kansas City game, especially, it just felt like it was just in terms of recognition, he got confused a couple times, and that's why you see him.
Yep.
You know, you see the start his throw, then reset, and then throw
Yep.
the ball.
Yep.
When he, yeah,
This is Jimmy, but this is Trey. Yeah. Amtod99 says Jags got a fifth for Minshew. Let's just settle for a third or fourth for James before he sabotages us by going head first dive into the. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that dive yesterday in the preseason game was like I just so flashbacks of Kansas City 3 years ago. It's like he's lowering his shoulder. Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Nice, dude. That was really gutsy. Oh God. Come on,
And even
Jimmy.
Kyle Shanahan, when they asked him after the game, he was like, "Yeah, it's impressive. Like, why is he doing that in a preseason game? Just throw it to Hogan in the flat."
Yeah, what are you doing, dude? But okay. Rich says Kyle hasn't won without Jimmy! Exclamation point. Yeah, that's what makes this very interesting.
I mean, if you think Trey Lance is as good as Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard, then
Thank you, Vish. All right, we're like 10 minutes behind on these comments.
yeah.
Both Trey rookies, Lance and Sermon, okay, have failed to fully grab their respective jobs. Is Sermon the least explosive of all the running backs right now? We're going to talk about the running backs, but real quick, you like Sermon a lot. I was impressed by him in this game. What have you seen from him? Real
Yeah,
quick.
I don't understand this. Sure, he's not as fast as Elijah Mitchell or Raheem Mostert or Jermichael Hasty, but he's the best in tight spaces. He turns a lot of negative runs into positive runs. He runs the lowest out of all of them. He runs the best behind his pads. There's a lot to like about Trey Sermon. He's just a different style running back from the rest of the guys they have, and that's a good thing because to me, the Trey Sermon I saw is the kind of running back that you can close out football games with
Yeah,
the way
I
the
agree.
Patriots could close out games with the LeGarrette Blunt.
It's a
And
great
to me,
point.
he's better than LeGarrette
Great
Blunt.
point. Yeah,
The comparison,
Leonard Fournette down in
Le'Veon
Tampa.
Bell.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people like kind of sneer at Leonard Fournette because he doesn't average a lot of yards per carry, but he was terrific closing out a Super Bowl. So that's what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
playoff Lenny was real. And if you remember his rookie season, that Buffalo offense was terrible. It did not have a great offensive line. And playoff Lenny showed up.
Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Greg says this could be a dream of Kyle since RG3 and Kirk. Cause what do you think? Saying like that he drafted the two
That's
with
interesting.
think and maybe this was the plan back then. Interesting. Like, okay, I have to draft RG3 because the owner said, maybe kind of similar to here. But I also my vision is to do a two quarterback system at some point. Maybe. I don't know. We'll ask him. He might even I don't know if he would on it if he would say. He might. Trey doesn't seem to be embraced by his teammates. A lot of people seem to be saying this, man. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say. I'm not in the locker room. If I were in the locker room, I could tell you better. But I'm not going to be allowed. No one's allowed this year. Something to watch for, though. I guess, hey, this is what happens. Kyle, when you create this 2 quarterback system, people are going to read into everything all year. And we profit, Vish and I. So I just don't know how you profit, but we do. So thank you again.
I mean, hey, it could be really good. It could be the new thing in the NFL.
It could. Frank Hanna, honestly, odds of that Jimmy gets injured. Yeah. I hope not, but that's what we need. 2 quarterbacks. Jimmy's fragility, not ability.
Yeah, but you don't
playing
need
him less.
Playing simultaneously.
Playing him less, I guess he's still gonna play. He's still gonna get hit. Kashik says top 5 preseason rookie quarterbacks from 2018: Darnold, Baker, Rosen, Allen, Lamar. Lance was never going to look great in the preseason, and I think that's a fair thing to say. And maybe we're overanalyzing the preseason. Maybe we do that every year.
I brought up Darnold. I remember I was talking about Zach Wilson on my show, and we were talking about how people were talking about Zach Wilson in practice. And everybody who knows, I do not like Sam Darnold. I'm not a big fan of Sam Darnold. I did not like Sam Darnold before his draft. And I remember saying, like, do you remember how hyped up Sam Darnold was? It wasn't really the preseason. It was the camp itself. They were calling him the savior. The New York Post were calling him the greatest thing since sliced bread, all of that. And I was like, you remember that, and look at how Darnold's career turned out. Don't overreact to a couple of negative headlines about Zach Wilson. And to me, he was the best quarterback in this preseason in terms of all the rookies. So,
yeah. Jeremy Price says, smokescreen, Jimmy will play over 70% of the snaps. Jimmy is the guy. Did you see that TD run? 70%?
I saw Lance's TD run, too.
So what do you think the percentage breakdown will be week 1? That's a hard question.
Yes. I have no clue.
I know, right?
He literally said, I don't even plan that thing. I just go by feel, and I kind of have a good idea.
Thanks, Kyle.
Where I just...
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh, did I play both quarterback? I didn't even notice that I played both quarterback. I was just calling plays, and I love Kyle. He just plays dumb 100% of the time with that look on his face, like, I don't have to tell you. I like that. I would do that, too, if I were you sometime. Not all the time, though. Thank you for becoming the new member. I appreciate that. Last one, and then we're going to get back to our show. Do you think Kyle has a play call in mind first before switching the quarterback, or the other way around? That's a good question for him. He might answer that. Like,
I mean, he won't tell you. It was literally asked, like, what is your science beyond?
He's like, I don't have one.
I don't even think about that. I just do it on feel. Yeah,
I
just do it on feel.
Yeah. Thanks, Kyle.